nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. We've got a new visitor, Matt. How are you doing?
Great, sir. How are y'all? How's everybody doing today?
Doing well here. So you get your first cap here. Rafa, Royce, how are you guys doing? Whoever wants to jump in first.
I'm good. It's back from the wedding and all the rainfall over there.
A fun wedding, or
There you go.
Yeah, it was a fun wedding. A wet one too, because it rained during the reception.
all right? So okay, I was just checking to see on here, and okay, so yeah, we're up on all three. And Royce, how are you? I see you got the Kings of Texas flag behind you tonight.
Yeah, it's nice. We're doing all right. Labor Day weekend, 3-day weekend. Can't complain.
And it's now showing up, Rafa, on Twitter and Facebook. So and YouTube here. So we are good to go. I know we're starting a couple minutes early. I know Royce has got a hard out at 8:00, so we wanted to try to get his thoughts on at least the recap here. But initial thoughts on the week can be any topic here. Matt, your thoughts on this past week?
Great game. I know we had a great game. Manchester shocked the heck out of me. Not gonna lie. I was expecting them to beat Arsenal, finding out they were the first team in the table. So
It's early.
that actually shocked me.
Yep.
Rafa, how are you? I know we'll probably get to Rafa's European adventures later on in the show, but
I was able to watch the second half of the game, of the Oakland game, and so it was pretty entertaining. And what can you say about the Club America and Liga MX? 7 in a row, top of the table. They were on the bottom, not on the top. So I'm happy about that. So
Liga MX is like AAA, even the MLS, right?
well, they're beating all the good teams, so that's what I'm happy about.
They can't even win CONCACAF Champions League anymore. So
with this team they might. So we'll see. Hopefully they'll get it.
Royce,
Real Madrid, another big win for them against Betis. So that was a good one. So the triple threat.
The triple threat. Royce, I saw Yadier Molina steal third, so that was kind of unique this past, I think it was this weekend here.
So, believe it or not, he has 2 stolen bases this season because people don't pay attention to him. Yeah, I was going to turn to a baseball podcast real quick. One of the last game that I've been to back in St. Louis, my sister and I went on a sibling trip in 2016. We went to opening day for all the festivities. And we got to see Yadier Molina steal a base in that game. So it's rare, but it happens. And also, Albert is 5 home runs away from 700, and he's 2 away from passing up A-Rod. So, and we're also 8 games ahead of Milwaukee in the Central. We're having a good time. We're doing good. We're doing good in baseball. Everything's good. How are the Rockies doing?
Do the Rockies play baseball?
I don't think they know if they do or not. So, good question.
I think they sell their best players, so it is what it is. But no, it's baseball to me is kind of dead at this point. I'm just like, so I'll watch some of the postseason. But moving on to SAFC, and I guess I should do this here. SAFC in Oakland. To me, Manley returned, but Dylan was out. So I think that was kind of the big I don't want to say shock. To me, anytime Dylan's not in the lineup, I think it's a little bit of a shock. I knew with Jonathan Check and his reporting for the Striker Texas, it said that Manley was going to return. Any surprises on the starting lineup?
I could you ever be surprised? We haven't had the same lineup all season, so
I know.
Unexpected.
Exactly. I don't think we've used the same lineup at 2 games this season. So are you surprised by no. At this point, no.
They're like rock, paper, scissors, who's gonna play.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, that's how I see it.
They draw short straws, or they draw
lottery.
Yeah, numbers out of a hat to figure out who plays. That's it. That's what it comes down to. But I will say,
formation was a little bit different. I know, Royce and Ruff and Matt could kind of go into was it really, but you had Sam and Patino up top, Pirano, PC, according to how SAFC showed it, and then Maloney, Abu, Gomez, backline through there.
The only difference, and it didn't really look like that too much. PC did get forward a little bit, but at the same time, I think they're kind of implementing PC more of the Maloney role. So Maloney, whenever he would play up, whenever we had Traore would be out there. Maloney would be in that PC spot, and he'd go forward a lot. PC's playing that role, which is fine. It's not really that. Mo is not the only one that goes back. PC also goes back in support as almost a double pivot sometimes. So it's not really that much different. You put Pirano up, and he's basically in the same spot that Sam was in earlier this season, and then you had Patino and Dylan up top. It's not that different. It's a slight difference. The thing I will say that I'm excited about for this and seeing this lineup, and this is kind of the second or third match we've had a similar forward core play together, is them getting time on the field to get used to each other, to know where each other are going to be. That's going to be huge come playoff time, and that's what they need to do. That's kind of why this little downturn in form haven't really, yes, it's a little frustrating, but at the same time, the most important thing we can do is prepare ourselves for the playoffs, and that's what they're doing. And that's why Pirano, Patino, they're starting to click a little bit. Adeniran and Patino are definitely starting to click with the runs they're making together, and they're making whenever Sam and Patino earlier this season, when they'd start together, they would constantly make the same run. They would get in each other's way. They'd always make the same run. Now it's very different runs, and they're looking for each other. That's big. Secondly, you saw in this match that Pirano was trying to distribute to them. He was short on a couple passes, but there were some really good ideas that were passes in the channel that were line splitting passes that really could have been dangerous. They just need to sharpen that up a little bit. And another thing you saw in this match that is never not exciting is Mo being the distributor in charge, and also being a general on the field. He would destroy every single little attack that Oakland put forward. It would be Mo that would break it up 9 times out of 10. And it was awesome watching him and watching peak Mo, and then that assist to Sam that we'll see in the highlights here. Unbelievable. But it's the exciting thing. Yes, we've had, some players are injured. We have injuries. It's SAFC. Big surprise. Injured players. But at the same rate, the players that are healthy, the players that are going to be starters, they're getting used to playing with each other on the field, and that's going to make them stronger come playoffs.
And I think for me, what stood out to me is Pirano out on the right. You could tell he's not comfortable there as of yet, but you can see the thinking behind it. So the highlights was, as always, is courtesy of YouTube, USL Championship, Oakland Roots, and San Antonio FC. So here we go.
Down the home stretch of the USL Championship season, we're underway. San Antonio from right to left in the white, and Oakland from left to right in the black.
To give the opportunity to the other wingbacks to operate in.
On the top here is an opportunity for Adeniran. Adeniran, almost a terrific start for San Antonio.
And Adeniran riding that back line.
Nice ball by PC there.
Very.
And you know he has one thing on his mind, just trying to get this on this deadly left foot, trying to bend it in.
Notes packet for the media, and there's a section of San Antonio's that you don't necessarily want to see, and they're the only team that
Here comes
has
Mo.
it, and it's a game's missed by
Unbelievable.
Wonders. It's through here to
Unbelievable
Adeniran.
pass.
Adeniran puts it home.
Great.
And to me, that just goes to show you don't have to have power behind every shot. It can depend on the placement that you do on the shot by Sam.
On a dime. Rotation in the back end.
What a big mistake by Oakland is to kind of give him space to even give that pass.
Great first touch to bring it down out of the air with a lot of.
So I know John from USL Tactics said that unlike our previous opponents here, Oakland has aggressive center backs along those lines here, and I think San Antonio took advantage of it. On this one here, is there anything that Oakland could have done any different? Rafa.
Not quick enough.
Well, from the initial pass, you saw that space that if you look at where Mo's at, right there, you can stop right there. It's just too much space. He's got three guys around, but so that allows that you see, and that's what I think we need to get better at when we're going to send these long balls. We got to kind of pinpoint to see who has these 1v1s in the defenses, because a lot of the times when we send the balls up, there's like 2 or 3 and they get intercepted and they counterattack on us. This is good on Mo's part. He recognized how the defense was. It was he received 1v1. If he can get behind the ball and beat that one defender, he's going to get the shot. And you can see there, yeah. So you can see the 1v1 right there, because you see Patino there. He's occupying 2 defenders there, and that allows that space. So that's where we need to get better at as far as recognizing those areas. And I think that's going to lead, and that's going to lead to opportunities like this.
There's 2 things real quick I want to point out about this. One that I had mentioned earlier is that Patino and Sam are now making different runs. And shout out to John who commented with USL Tactics. Oakland Roots have some very aggressive center backs, and we're seeing this. One of these center backs came up to try to take on Pirano and left the other 2 with Sam and Patino. So Patino stayed wide, and Patino got in the face of the other and took them with him. So Sam is by himself. The other center back is trying to recover because he left him alone, and he's not going to get there in time. And that's what happened is Patino is taking over 2 center backs. Sam is by himself, and Pirano comes up to take over one of the center backs. It should be 3-on-3. One of the center backs blows his assignment, and that's why this goal happens. And Mo sees that, puts the ball where it needs to be, and that's what happened. And that's what SAFC needs to work on more, and we saw it happen here. And that's something that they were due early in the season, and that's when you had Collier and you had JD, and they would make different runs, and they would do the similar thing. Well, now you have Patino and Sam out there, slightly more dangerous, slightly more consistent players. Also, you're going to have Collier, Bailone, and JD off the bench. And they're going to play very similar ways. I think we got the striker side set for sure. We need to get healthy in the center back side. We need Fabian to get back.
Well, the one thing on their formation, if you saw the formation, it's a 3-5-2. Mo and PC are basically your holding mids, and that's going to free up Pirano to kind of go wherever basically ball side, and that's where you're going to see him more to get involved with the plays. But like I said, I think maybe that had also to do with Dylan being out, because normally if Dylan we have a 3-4-3, so we went with a 3-5-2. I think one of the things they recognized from the first game, we were getting killed in the center mid from Oakland, and that's how we allowed that first goal. So it was important to have Mo and PC, in that center gap to intercept balls, which they did. But Pirano was given kind of freedom to kind of go run around and be like a third forward, but being involved with all the playmaking and so forth. So, like I said, this allowed the space for the guys to get the goal.
Yeah, out of possession, Pirano would come back and he'd help out whichever side the ball was on to help out with the press and help try to win the ball back. Outside of the ball, with the ball, Pirano would go forward and he'd help out the forwards. And that's the role that he needs to play. That's where we need him. We need him to find that space. We need him to be effective that way. That's where Sam was earlier. Sam is too valuable to do that on the back shoulder of a center back. So we need Pirano to take that in the middle and take that pressure off and distribute. So, and that's what he's getting his legs under him. And you saw it in this match. He's putting it together. It's taken him a couple games, but he's putting it together and he's understanding his role. And like I said, I think closer to the playoffs and in playoffs, I think we're going to be very
Rotation, the
dangerous.
back end from Fuenmayor Murad, not quick enough. Talk about being composed. Great first touch to bring it down out of the air with a lot of traffic around you. And then a nice little toe poke. Doesn't need to hit it hard, just gets it out. Abu.
I got to think when Patino scores,
Took a deflection.
it's going to open up the bank for him because he has to be one of the most unluckiest players right now.
You know what Patino's going through? He's going through the Justin Dillon period right now from last season, where it just seemed like no matter what JD had to do, the ball just didn't go in. He would get his chances, he'd make the right runs, he'd put a good shot in, he wouldn't go in. That's what Patino's having. And we saw earlier this season the dam broke for JD and he just could not stop scoring. That's what Patino's going to hit later this season.
One of the few attacks that Oakland had really all night.
Yeah, and that's because Taintor got a little bit aggressive. He lost his assignment, and Farr and Kamiri bailed him out.
Was that Kamari or Gomez?
That was
Kamari.
That's Kamari.
Oh, what a touch by Sam.
Maloney breaking free. Maloney in alone.
And if
Maloney.
If only he would have chipped it. That's what I say.
If
Only
when he chips.
In alone.
I think he could have passed out of Pirano from the backside.
Pirano's busting his ass reward him right.
If you stop right there, if he sends that pass there, Pirano taps that in.
Yeah.
But I think we have to give Blanchett some, for a goalkeeper because he did do a great job of cutting down the angles because I'm not sure with the defender here and with his positioning if he could have got a clean pass.
There's two players for Oakland that need credit on this, and the number one player is Blanchett. He is the ultimate reason this doesn't go in. He gives a good angle. He makes the player make a decision, whether you keep going to the inline and you shoot or you shoot now. He makes him make the decision. The other one is a center back over here by Pirano. Him keeping up, covering up Pirano because that's an easy pass, and I think that's what Maloney's looking for, and he's waiting for Pirano to get there. He just doesn't get there because the center back busts his butt to get there. So those two players are the reason that's not an easy goal. But once again, if Maloney can chip, if he's sponsored by Tostitos, then yeah. So
Sam with another good shot on target.
Yeah. Goalkeeper of the week. The way that he comes out, he sees it the whole way through, and then to have the reaction to get up, to get well positioned.
They've been the more menacing on the two sides the last few minutes. Here's Manley cutting
Good to see Manley back.
Cutting it off. Adeniran to put it away, saved by Blanchett. He's made three big ones now in this second half to keep it 1-0.
For the Oakland Roots, you can see Azokar. Why are you trying to play through this line? So congested in the middle of the field.
And that was Kamiri winning that ball and Manley coming up. That's
step over, and then it's
crazy. Those two center backs involved in the attack like that, get involved in the press. And then Shannon. What can you say? Shannon effing Gomez. God, never gives up. Never gives up.
Puts it back.
Unbelievable play.
Takes a touch.
I still think Sam mishits that, but
100% he missed it.
I thought it was off the goal, to be honest.
No, it was him.
He threw that change up. He threw that change up and got him to swing and miss.
Out from far.
Nice job by Nicky Hernandez too.
Have to be a bit more higher tempo as he clinches his left hamstring at the end of that play. Give credit to Gomez on the front foot. Good ball across, and then Sam Adeniran has the composure to take that first touch.
But at the same rate, if you're Sam and they ask you, did you mean to do that? Yeah, I meant to do that. 100%.
And that was his left foot.
18 points away.
Yeah, that was his right foot. That was his right foot. That's his off foot. So hey, maybe it was on purpose. Because that's I'm not trying to slam Sam. Ironic, but that's probably the best finish he's had with his right foot this entire season. So,
yeah, not wrong.
You know what? It's a goal. Off foot goal. That's improvement. We love to see that. So, yep, 2-0, 2-0.
Matt,
kinda
your
how it
thoughts
should
on the
be.
match?
I think it's pretty impressive. I mean, I feel like we're starting to mold together with the addition of Pirano. So seeing him trying to get the attention to get the guys to move forward, I'm thinking we're going to be pretty strong coming forward.
So stat-wise, possession 64-36 in favor of Oakland. However, 17 shots, 9 on target, 5 off target. Oakland had 13 shots, only 2 on target. 4 shots off target. 4 corner kicks apiece. 17 to 15 fouls. We had 17 yellow cards, 3-1. We hit the woodwork once. 11 shots inside the box. Passing still not good, 61%. Didn't hurt us this match here. To me, it was just it was a typical. Hey, San Antonio got the early goal. They defended and they got that second goal at the end to close the door.
It was Marcina Ball 2022.
Gary said, with Kamari out next game for yellow card, do you think Garcia comes back or Abdul Siad?
We'll see who's healthy.
I think Garcia comes back for the San Diego game.
I don't think so, because he's not, at least from listening to Jonathan Check, he hasn't been out the practices and stuff, not even on the side warming up. So now we don't know if he's there afterwards or not, but I have a feeling Garcia's out a little bit longer for that, but we'll see. That is going to be something that we will have to look at here. Before you have to go here, Royce, and before we get into the breakdown here, do you want to talk about the 4-game home stretch here? 4 playoff teams. Remember, kickoff times go back to 7:30. So if you show up at 8, you're going to miss 30 minutes of game action. So make sure that you get out there earlier. If you get out early enough and go to the Crocketeers tailgate, or go hang with everybody in the parking lot along those lines here. Thoughts on this upcoming stretch? To be honest, looking at SAFC schedule, the next 6 are against playoff teams. 4 from the West, 2 from the 2 from the East. The last 2 on the East are on the road. But your thoughts, and we'll go with you, Royce, because I know you got about 10 minutes before you need to go. Your thoughts on this upcoming stretch for this?
And you know how verbose I am, and I'm going to take the entire 10 minutes to respond to this. No, no, it's an important stretch. This is a typical stretch where, the last 5-6 seasons, this is where we'd say it's a make or break time. This is the time when SAFC needs to decide if they're a playoff team or not. Well, it's kind of a make or break time. This is, do you want to be the number 1 seed? Are you the number 1 seed? Are you the best team in the league?
Right. It's not so much for the West, but it's to be able to host the playoffs.
Correct. But that's what this is.
Correct.
This stretch of games is going to be to determine if SAFC is the best team in the league, period. Yes, obviously the playoffs also do that, but the playoffs have crazy crap happen. You never know what happens in the playoffs. It's nuts. But I think this stretch is kind of the, hey, are you them? Are you the real deal? This is it. This is that stretch. So we'll see. It is important. At the same time, honestly, I think the number 1 priority right now for SAFC, get healthy and stay healthy and get some time together on the field. This is going to be a good stretch for the players that we mentioned that are new or getting this new system implemented. That's slightly new for the players, slightly new instructions. It's important. This is your warm up to the playoffs. This is your time when you figure things out and you figure out who you are and you go into the playoffs as strong as you can. I think this schedule kind of lines up really well. There was a kind of an easy stretch after the little week vacation that all the players got. And now this is, hey, we're back in the league. It's time to show up. This is the warm up for the playoffs. And the playoffs are around the corner. So yeah, good stretch, but at the same time, prove to us who you are. Prove to yourselves who you are. And let's get it done. Let's get some wins. Let's stay on top. And let's go after that number 1 seed.
And looking at the stretch, you got San Diego that's in a battle with Colorado Springs for second. New Mexico's in a battle to try to be able to host the first round, fourth there, with Sac Republic. So to be able to know this, it's not only important for us, but it's also important for these teams as well, seeding-wise, to be able to, hey, are we going to finish second or third along those lines? Also, if San Antonio does have a rough patch, hopefully they don't, but if they do, right now,
now's the time to have it.
Well, no, but like San Diego, they could, if they have a rough patch, even if they win San Diego 2-0, San Diego wins the tiebreaker. New Mexico, if they win greater than 1-0, they would have the tiebreaker. Same with I forget the score on the Switchbacks match. And Sacramento won the thing there. Now, I don't think all of those really matter as far as for the tiebreakers, because I think for San Antonio FC, with the point lead that they have, barring a complete collapse, which I don't foresee happening, especially with 4 matches at home, probably not as big of a deal. Matt, your thoughts on the upcoming schedule being at 7:30?
Gonna be early games now, so gotta get there on time, man. No time to waste. But I'm not gonna lie, seeing San Diego come back and seeing that we're healthy. I mean, I'm kind of curious how Donovan's gonna play with us. New Mexico, I feel a little bit confident, but knowing that they're great on the road, it's tricky. Yeah. Colorado, with the way they're going, I mean,
they picked it back up, so
they're starting to warm up. Their last match, they look good. Yeah,
with that one, it is a coin flip, and then Sacramento just got to make sure they're not on their toes still. So,
and the Colorado. Sorry to interrupt you. The Colorado Springs is a Tuesday match, so it's a Saturday, Tuesday, and then Saturday coming up here. So the Switchbacks one is the one that I wonder if we see maybe more player rotation on that match where it's a Tuesday match.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, just hopefully they get it together for these next 4. I really want to see a win primarily against the Loyal and of course Sacramento to kind of even that out.
Rafa, your thoughts?
Well, this is like the old saying from the Nate: to be the man, you gotta beat the man. This is the 4-game stretch to make a statement to USL. Put your foot up there. You know what? Up each team's. You know what? And make a statement. I think if you beat San Diego Loyal, you're each closer getting clinching Western Conference. You definitely want to throw a monkey wrench against New Mexico and the Switchbacks in Sacramento. You want to flex your muscle knowing that, hey, in the playoffs, you're going to come here to San Antonio and you're not going to win. And that's the statement that they need to make these 4 games. And it starts with the San Diego game. We didn't have Patino in that game. We'll see how Mr. Donovan is gonna plan this game, because I know he planned a lot for the last game where we're shorthanded, but this time say how are you gonna handle the 3-headed monster with Perano and Patino. Hopefully we can get Dylan back. And like I said, I think we're a lot better shape than we were from that game as far as offensively, because offensively, I know defensively, I know we're hurting without Garcia, and now with Kamiri out too. But I think the big factor also, like you put, is Kyle Adams. Him not being there, what kind of game plan are they going to have to try to stop Aditerin, Patino, and also Perano up front? And I think don't be surprised in this game when we score 1, this can turn to a rout, and that's what San Antonio needs to do, is make a statement on this first game this Saturday.
Royce, I know you got to go here, but quick thoughts on the San Diego match?
Yeah, two things real quick. I'm going to do my final thought, but first for San Diego, the biggest thing that they did, the reason they won 3-0 in the first match, the one that was in San Diego, was because they found a lot of space between our center backs and our midfield. We were pushing up a little bit, and they found a lot of joy there. With this last match against Oakland, with PC and Abu sitting back more and filling up that space, I think that can only help us. And with Pirano wreaking havoc in front of them in the vent field with the press, I think we're gearing up for them, and I think we're in a lot better space. It's gonna hurt not to have Kamiri in the back line for sure, but at the same rate, man, I think we're in. And yes, our center backs aren't 100% healthy. That's another sticker. But at the same time, we're in a lot better place tactically and personnel wise for this match. And my final thought, I'm going to keep it simple so I can get out of here. I'm sure everyone that has a kid has had their kid have meltdowns and bad days. Well, we had a bad day, so that's why I got to go. But my final thought is Sacramento, give them hell, man. We'll be watching. I think this is our last show before the U.S. Open Cup final. Let's go, Sac Republic, man. Let's go. We're all rooting for you here in USL land. So let's go. Show them who you are. It's only Orlando. Yeah, Orlando sucks. It's only Orlando. Do it. Do the thing. So
let's not forget Orlando came from Austin, so they still carry that stink. So
yeah, it is the Aztecs, isn't it? Oh, well,
it is Aztecs 1.0. Yes.
Yeah, the fighting Chris Tierpacks. All right. I'll never forget. I'll never forget Tierpack against the Scorpions putting 2 in from like half field. Insane. That hurt so much. Anyway, we'll see y'all later. Go SAFC. Big stretch coming up, and let's go. Let's put some results in. We'll see y'all. Good night.
Later,
Good night, Royce. So San Diego's performance on the road, at home they're 11-0-4. So at home they're very good, averaging 2.2 points. On the road's a different story, however. They are 5 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses, only a +1 goal difference and average points of 1.46. Where San Antonio's 8 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss, +17. Although, a few of those you have to do with a couple of big wins over minnow teams and averaging 2.25 points. I think it's Vassell that's still the leading goal scorer for them. But Rafa, your thoughts on San Diego? Kyle Vassell, and then Koki Vegas is their goalkeeper who did an outstanding job against us for that here. But your thoughts? I do think them losing Adams is huge. For that here. Let's not forget when Adams went out against LAFC or not LAFC. LA Galaxy 2 at home. They ended up losing 5-0. Now they won't beat down a man, but I do think he is that key of a player. But your thoughts, Rafa, on the Loyal?
Well, that right there, it's going to be tough on them because now we have, like I said, the difference between the first game we played them is we didn't have Coutinho in that game, and I think having that Coutinho would have kind of, really caused some problems there. This game without Kyle Adams, his leadership is needed on this. You're gonna have to pick your poison. Either you're gonna double Ederin, you're gonna double Coutinho, and now you're mixing Pirano. So it's gonna be very difficult for them. And I think we need to take, like I said, we need to take advantage, especially having that 3-0 loss with them. This is a prime opportunity to route them and try to get that 4-0 on them to kind of get that tiebreaker back. Like I said, their back's against the wall in this one. San Diego, I know they're going to pull all the strings because they need to win this game in order to kind of stay in second. But it's a long shot for them to get the first place unless we have a total collapse, which I don't see that's going to happen with us. But I think for us, we just need to make a statement on this game, letting them know, okay, if you're gonna come here, you're gonna have to beat us in order to go to the conference final or to the championship. So. But I think we're in good shape now offensively, and I think with this loss it's going to really damper on as far as their game plan, and it's I think they're going to kind of set back a bit, but I think eventually all the pressure that we put on, we're going to end up getting that first goal.
So just to kind of refresh everybody, it wasn't just Patino that was out. Abu was out as well. So we started Farr, Manley, Tainer, Garcia. So obviously Garcia is going to be out, for that here. So Most likely we're assuming Delim, PC, Dylan, Sam, Gomez, Maloney, and Kamiri. For that here. The issue that came into play is we didn't have any bench, and that's where San Diego wore us down. We had Jude Bossart, who was the backup goalkeeper, but then we had Roman Holt, Kai Levier, and Henrik Sakshung. So we had 4 academy players, which they're good, but they're not USL Championship. The only 2 subs that we had was Saeed Abdul Salam and Nicky Hernandez. So it was one of those where we were probably a little bit shorthanded. It was a big match for San Diego. They had this circled, after last year losing in the playoffs. So to me, it'll be interesting to come down where San Antonio is probably still not 100%, but they're going to be a lot deeper, to be able to absorb the pressure. So that way they don't get worn down like they did, at that game because. It was 0-0 until the 65th minute, and then 72nd and 77th minute. So it was a tight game, and then when they
just wore out.
Yeah, they subbed on Vassell, and I want to say they subbed on. When Vassell came on, that was the big change, for them here. So. Matt, your thoughts? I know you watched the Loyal match. Kind of your thoughts of the upcoming changes. Number one, it's not at Torero Stadium, which from listening to Puro SAFC, who actually went, one of them went to attend the match. They said it was a great environment. They had 4,700 fans there. Your thoughts of it being at Toyota Field? Hopefully it'll be a healthier roster, just than what we're running. It may not be completely healthy, but your thoughts on the matchup against the Loyal and the more depth at this time for San Antonio?
I think we're going to do better on tightening those gaps, hopefully. I'm praying for that with Abu being back and also having PC out there. I feel like PC, Abu, Maloney, and Pirano are all going to be key points in this game of taking away the attention. I feel like also a little bit with Kamiri out, it is tricky on how they'll defend that back line, but I do feel like everybody will draw back to keep a good wall from them scoring. And I'm hopefully, like I said, from behind the goal, hopefully seeing positive outcome in our favor.
Moving on to any final thoughts on the San Diego match before we move on to standings? A look at the playoffs and then final thoughts.
I think the big key is our central mid having PC and Abu. I think if they can keep the pace of the game, control the game, not the same as far as possession wise, but as far as pace and intercepting balls, I think it's going to be a long night for San Diego, and especially with our guys back up front, up top. I think we can handle. We have enough depth as far as our defense, but now plus we also have not besides Shannon Gomez, we also have let's go. We get back our other forward the last
Nacho?
Besides
Nacho Collier. Hopefully we have Dylan back. Sam played in that match, but Patino was out due to a red card.
Yeah, so like I said, I think that game we're at 60%. This game we're at about 80%. So I think that's going to be the big difference, and they couldn't even score on us until very late. So I think we got on them early. If Abu and PC set the pace of the game, we're going to win this game, and hopefully we can watch them and get that point back.
So looking at the standings, East, Louisville, 58 points. Rowdies second at 54th. They both have clinched playoff slots. Memphis, Riverhounds, Birmingham. Who knows who'll finish third, fourth, or fifth? It's all tight. And then Miami, Detroit City, they're battling out for the final spots. Really, the East is set. Tulsa lost, I want to say, to Atlanta United 2, which basically killed any hope that they had of making up the difference, barring a complete collapse from the Miami FC or Detroit City, which I just don't see happening. So I think the East is set as far as playoff teams. Seeding, that still has to be worked out. Louisville, I think, probably comfortable number one, but Tampa's right there, and then like I said here, really between second through fifth, you could see any adjustment. Out west, San Antonio, 19 wins, 60 points, 8 points clear of the Loyal. So if they do win, looking at the max points and depending on what the switchbacks do, San Antonio may have a 4 points that they need to get before they clinch the West. So most likely during this 4-game home stretch here, they will clinch the Western Conference number 1 seed. San Diego Loyal switchbacks, a battle for second or third. Sacramento, New Mexico, kind of in the battle, for fourth or fifth. Don't sleep on El Paso. I kind of counted them out, but they've kind of rebounded. They got a big win against New Mexico 2-1 and beat Phoenix 3-1. So is it just average teams, or are they kind of figuring things out, with all the changes? I think the Lights are in trouble. They're still at 30, in 37th place. The Galaxy play tonight, so we'll see if they move. This loss really hurt Oakland's chances. Phoenix, the team that has the best shot is actually Monterey Bay because they got 2 games in hand. Their max points, is something that puts them at 56 points. LA Galaxy's max points is at 57. RGV, surprisingly, still has that 54%. I know they've got a couple of games. They got a big one this Wednesday against El Paso in the final Copa Tejas match of the year for that here. So, for that here. Unfortunately, the champions just never get out of the gates this year. And that's where it's at. So, looking at the playoffs here, seeding-wise here, out west, San Antonio would be automatically advanced to the semifinals. So they'll most likely play that weekend of October 29th. They get the lowest seed available. So whether it's, right now, if seeds held, it would be the winner between New Mexico United and Sac Republic. But if any of the teams upset either Switchbacks or San Diego Loyal, whether it's El Paso, the Lights, or whoever makes it into the 7th slot, San Antonio would then face them. Out east, Louisville, just like San Antonio, if they finish first, will have a spot in the conference semis. Birmingham, Pittsburgh, kind of funny thing last year, that was also a first-round match or quarterfinal match. It did not play due to COVID, and I want to say Birmingham advanced on there, so that would be kind of interesting. And the year before, they faced in the first round, and the Riverhounds blew them out.
That'll be a tough matchup for Louisville.
Yeah,
one of those two.
But I don't think it does. Memphis 901, I'm not a believer. I'm sorry. I know USL John Tactics says that they're a better team. I just don't believe them. Memphis 901, Miami FC. I could see Miami FC advancing, and then that's who would play Louisville. And this would be a tasty match. Detroit City traveling down to Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay finished second for that here, I know Maxi Rodriguez, San Antonio, born and bred and along those lines. So that would be kind of interesting. But that's where we're at playoff-wise. Really, the East is kind of set just outside the order. The West, it's still open. Because I think the only sure spots are the top 5. When you get down to 6, with El Paso, Vegas, it's kind of wide open for that here. But any thoughts on the playoffs or standings at this point that stands out to you?
Yeah, it's like especially the seeding is going to come down. I mean, we're probably going to influence the seeding out east with Birmingham and Pittsburgh.
Right.
We could be a monkey wrench for one of those two teams as far as who's going to host. So, I guess each game is going to be important. And another also for us, we just need to stay ahead, especially staying ahead of Louisville. And that's a big thing. If we can get the overall number 1 seed. Because I know USL and ESPN wants to have the game there at Louisville Stadium. So but they don't want to come here to San Antonio.
The West team is never hosted. We'll
Yeah.
just leave it at that.
I think this year might be, hopefully with light those candles that we finally get to host.
So San Antonio does have a 2-point lead on that. Our max points if we win out would be 81. Louisville, if they head out, is at 79. I think when we looked at it, Louisville has the easier schedule, just being honest. Number one, they're in the East, but number two, they play a tricky game against Tulsa this Wednesday, away at Pittsburgh, so that's one of them. But they play home against Loudoun, home against Memphis. Then they play at RGV, so they travel down to HEB Park on October 1st, and then come back in home and play Detroit City, and then play Hartford. So, will RGV do us a favor and at least tie or knock them down? That's the question, because as much as I love San Antonio FC, I don't know if they get through these 6 matches undefeated, collecting 3 points each match. So,
you can't, like I said, Louisville. I think that Tulsa game might be.
It's a sneaky one, yeah.
I think if Tulsa, I don't know if they're still out of it, but maybe if they're mathematically, if they're still in it, they're probably going to go with all guns blazing for that game. Don't count out that Memphis game, because Memphis may want to try to sneak up on Tampa Bay, try to get that second seed if they're within that striking range. So Louisville may have the easier, kind of on paper, the easier schedule, but I think they've faltered a little bit these last few weeks with certain teams.
Yeah, Memphis, they won Louisville won 2-1 when they played them mid-July. Pittsburgh and Louisville. When did they play Pittsburgh? They won at home 2-0 as well back in April. So I know Mongols is, kind of gearing up for that one as well. That's a Saturday against Louisville, so that'll be an interesting match. For Pittsburgh to see if they can do it. I would love it if it was 2 ties, not even have to beat them. And the reason why you say anything can happen, Indy 11 beat us, and they followed it up by beating Louisville this past week. So who knows? Any thoughts that you have, Matt, on the standings?
It's just a run for who really wants it. That's how I'm seeing it right now. I mean, our side is so open. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see RGV come all the way up. No puns.
So, moving kind of off topics for it here. Rafa, is there any topics, leagues, or anything you want to talk about?
Well, as far as the college scene, there were some college games this past weekend. I know UTSA had a nice little trip to Florida.
Yeah, they split. They beat Stetson 3-0 and lost to South Florida in a tough 1-0 match to them.
Which I think they're going to be their American Athletic Conference opponent. I think champion for next year. So that's a good, like I said, that's a good road trip for them. Also, Texas A&M Texas A&M San Antonio had a game. I think their first home opener. They got a 3-0 win versus Kansas Wesleyan. Trinity Men had a 3-3 tie. So, like I said, we're starting to get the swing of things. Like I said, we'll show more coverage as far as with the college team. We'll get some more with the other teams, with St. Mary's and also with UIW. So you just like I said, college just really kind of getting it going, and hopefully, like I said, by sometime around mid-September, they'll already start with the conference play. Yeah.
So St. Mary's, just to kind of give a heads up, their record's 4-0. They beat Southern Nazareth, Missouri Western State, Felician University. They play and Fort Lewis up in Canyon. They get to travel to actually my home state this coming weekend, where they play up in Gunnison. At Western Colorado, we used to call it Wasted State, just because it's a party school. And then go to Alamosa. At Adams State. I had one of my best friends, Chris, wrestled for Western Colorado and Gunnison. It's a cool place to go to. Real small rural town, but the university is kind of fun there in Gunnison. Really, the only thing to do is drink. So, but that's a typical college town. But no, wish St. Mary's much success as well, and Coach Driggs for that here. So, final thoughts as far as like leagues in Europe, overseas, Mexico, VAR. Any topics we want to touch base? We'll start with you, Matt. I think you are unfortunately a Manchester United fan.
I stay loyal to my teams. Can't do it. You can't change it. But I was very impressed with United winning over the number 1 seed Arsenal. So that VAR I don't know why they overturned it for them, but not trying to show off sides. But thankfully,
they're not Liverpool, so
or yeah. But I'm just thankful they got the win out of that one.
Rafa, any thoughts on Europe or Mexico?
Well, as far as in Europe, like I said, Bayern's still trucking along in their Bundesliga. Same thing with PSG in the League One. Real Madrid,
buys, right?
Huh?
They have buys, right? They get crowned the champion automatically, right?
Yeah. Oh, for those 2 farmer leagues, yeah. La Liga, it's things are heating up. Like I said, Real Madrid got a big win over Real Betis, who hadn't beaten them at home for I think the last 3 seasons, and finally got a win there. And then, actually, Champions League starts tomorrow, so they're going to be a plethora of games.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to talk to you. Champion Leagues tomorrow. Dynamo in Group E. Dynamo Zagreb, Chelsea. RB Salzburg hosts AC Milan. Celtic hosts Real Madrid. RB Leipzig was it Shakhtar Donetsk, and Dortmund hosts SFC. Was it Copenhagen? I believe is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sevilla hosts Man City. Benfica hosts the Maccabi Haifa, and the what's the goalkeeper? He played in Phoenix Rising, but a USL goalkeeper Cohen. There,
Yeah.
and then probably the main match, at least name wise, PSG and Juventus. Any matches are must watch outside of your Real Madrid, homer glasses there.
That one's probably going to be the prime game, the PSG Juventus game. All that money that PSG has pumped in to try to win Champions League, even though the FIFA fined them, which I have a little bone to pick with FIFA about that. It's PSG's got to have to prove a point here with this game. They got to win this game, man. If they're gonna win the Champions League, but Juventus is a very complicated team. They got some players that we used to play for PSG. They're now with Juventus, so they got a little bone to pick. And this is going to be a close game, but I think Juventus is going to give them a game, but PSG may squeak barely by a goal.
And Matt, did you want to talk Europa?
I'm not big on Europa. I'm not big on Europa.
Hey, Man United's looking at the headlines, they named their Europa League. I don't even know if it's Europa, but Europa League. But I do have a bone to pick with you, Rafa. And I know this isn't a team you support, but how can Barcelona get a clean bill of health? I forget who gave it to him. I want to say it was UEFA or somebody said, "Hey, no, everything's on all level." How is that possible?
No, I think there's some bribes going around there at UEFA. I mean, there was a list.
Allegedly,
there was a list of teams that got fined. PSG was one of them. And for Barcelona not to get fined for their financial practices and honestly, we're as far as signing these players and so forth, but having no money and being broke makes no sense. And while other teams would probably get a big demotion that's relegated to single, same thing it shouldn't be the exception with Barcelona, because if all the other La Liga teams can manage their finances properly and so forth, and these guys can't, and also not get fined by UEFA, something's fishy about this. And If FIFA needs to kind of step in and say, hey, and they deserve to get fined. If you can't take care of your books, your financial books, there's no reason for you to be buying players until you can take care, until you can balance your budget and so forth. So that's my little bone to pick on that. And I know they've won a couple games, or I think they're won a couple 3 games in a row or something like that. But I think there's still, we're not playing players for contracts that you promise. Then there's no reason for you to be. I think honestly, they should have been kicked out playing the Champions League and so forth, and even being relegated for what they did. But who they are, I guess, because the name speaks for itself. They're going to keep them there, I guess, to keep things competitive.
So on Wednesday, Champions League, Ajax Rangers. I think that's an interesting matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Napoli, Liverpool. So Group A is a solid on all 4 of those.
Don't sleep on Napoli because they may surprise Liverpool on that one.
Atletico Madrid, FC Porto, Club Brugge versus Leverkusen. Barcelona, they got the bye week, unfortunately. Victoria Pilsen, sorry. Inter Milan, Bayern Munich, although Barcelona, I would love if you lost that match or even tied it. I think that would be awesome. Frankfurt, Sporting CP, Tottenham, and Marseille. That's probably a good one for that here. And then I will give credit to I think this is a Europa League match, Group E. Man United plays Real Sociedad, which I think is a pretty good one. Union Berlin versus Union St. Gilloise out of Group D. And then the other one, Arsenal plays FC Zurich, also on Thursday. So lots of soccer for that here. But I do think that Man U Real Sociedad match is a pretty good one to watch as well. From my understanding, Real Sociedad is a pretty decent team. So that would be a 2:00 kickoff there for you, Matt.
Hey, we worked hard, so we're good.
Maybe we'll see Ronaldo in that game.
Man, he had so much time to score, and he just wasn't getting it this last game.
Well, he was trying to fly the coop. He was trying to go to Sporting, or I think the other one. I think Napoli was actually trying to get 2 blockbuster signings, but they fell through. They were trying to sign Ronaldo and Keylor Navas. Had they signed them, Napoli would have been. I think that would have helped them as far as Champions League. Their chances as far as getting out of the group a lot better. But those deals fall through.
Final thoughts, Matt. Could be anything you want. Final thoughts. I can't believe we're getting out under an hour, or right around an hour, depending on how long final thoughts take. But your final thought there, Matt.
Just want to win out these games, man. I want to see FC do something this year, and just want to fill that bunker up. So y'all got nothing to do Saturday, come out to Toyota Field, hang out with me by the drums, and just get this going.
Rafa, your final thought?
Final thoughts, hitting the road again this week, going to Round Rock. And then also, I got to say congratulations to my brother, Jose Alonso, and Indy for their wedding. Beautiful wedding. Also, happy birthday to my mom tomorrow. So happy birthday to her. And like I said, Club America, 7 in a row. They were on the bottom in July, and I guess playing those friendlies really helped them out. So now they're in first place, and hopefully they'll win the league and get into the Champions League and not lay an egg like Pumas did with Seattle for next.
Say MLS is better, and I hate saying that because I hate MLS, but United States over Mexico, and I know I'm the only one here on this, but always U.S. over Mexico. For here, although as we discussed last time, the Mexico kits
they sold out right when I was about to buy them after saying that, and I got jinxed on it. I couldn't buy my kids. I was so upset.
Yeah, Dios better hurry up and get another.
They need to get restocked on that stuff.
Yeah, so both the home and the away jerseys were sold out.
My final thought, kind of echoing Royce, 7 o'clock, Orlando, Sacramento, U.S. Open Cup final. I will say this, putting on my tinfoil hat, The reason why this isn't on ESPN is because it has Sac Republic in it, so you can only watch it on ESPN Plus. I have a feeling if it was 2 MLS teams, I bet you it's on ESPN2 or somewhere along those lines. But because Sacramento's here, for me personally, I would love to see it. I know it's on the Oakland Roots show, and they're probably one of the few places that don't want Sacramento to advance. For me, I'd kind of like to see it. Number one, to see if they would upgrade their roster to kind of be able to wouldn't necessarily contend, but to be respectable for here, because I do think that is an interesting aspect for it here. And then I would also love to see how USL kind of shapes their schedule if they kind of work around it for them here. But I think for any lower league or non-MLS fan, I think everybody's rooting for Sacramento to be able to do that. But like I said here, thank you, Matt, for hopping on. I know Robert,
Always.
unfortunately, had dad duty and fixing a washing machine, so unfortunately he wasn't able to. Royce obviously came on for a little bit, so thank you, Royce, for taking the time. Raf, as always, safe travels this week. I know this weekend I got to head up to Austin. AJ's finally got his first match for there, and then Anna's got a match, so we'll have split duty. But wishing AJ good luck, with his team for that here. But thank you for everybody tuning in. We're getting out right out at an hour, so we did it.